going to be looking at creating a marketing platform and plan for tech-forward multifamily companies. $17,004.33. Kind of a random number, right? This is the exact amount of money that Ray Drysdale spent to hire a lawyer to block the trademark request for the term SEO by someone named Jason Gambert. Did anyone here know that someone tried to trademark the term SEO?
That's awesome.
They did. He asserted he was the first to use the term in a 2007 email, but the actual origin of SEO can be found as far back as 1997 in the book Net Results, and I think there's other alleged sightings as well. So she successfully fought his application, and the term stayed copyright free. And it seemed like the battle of the century, as in you need that term to stay copyright free. We all use it. It's the backbone of what we do with marketing. But it could be obsolete soon. I have a couple examples up here, much like VCR movies from Blockbuster, Kodak Film, Sony Walkman. All these things that used to dominate their industries but did not shift are now in the dust in the past. And it seems like search engine optimization is switching to something called search experience optimization. Have any of you heard rumblings of that? A few of you? Let's see. Yeah, it's new. And I do think this is the direction the industry is going because it starts to make sense when you dig into the details. So here are some key differences. SEO is that straightforward, factual focus on things like keyword optimization, meta tags, backlinks. And while these are important, they don't have anything to do with a user's experience on a website or with a brand. On that flip side, that search experience optimization, it prioritizes the user's experience above all else. So you're literally looking at things like the design of the website, the page load speed, the mobile friendliness, what your videos look like, how engaging is it? Do you have 3D tours and different things that really invite them into your brand? Also, SEO can sometimes lead to the creation of content that's just designed to rank. You all know it. We've seen it. We can smell it from a mile away, but we still create it, where it's just keyword stuffing or low quality. Whereas, again, that shift to SXO is looking at, are you creating high quality, valuable content? So the quality of your marketing content and the experience it creates is important. And that includes your website, how you brand your company, the marketing, and everything. And that's the shift that we're going to wrestle with today, talking through this change into being very experience forward. So I have an amazing panel up here with me today. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, starting right here on my left.
My name is Jonathan Oleinick. I am the CEO and founder of Evolution Virtual. We create experiences, sales and leasing experiences for some of the most iconic buildings around the world.
Demetrios Barnes, president of Fenix Group Consulting, formerly co-founder, COO of SmartRent. We focus on helping builders, operators, technologists either integrate, deploy, choose the right thing to do. So that's me.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carol Van Hook Weaver. I'm the Director of Leasing and Marketing with Akara Living, and we have launched a product that we've been developing over the past 10 years that is a hybrid model of housing and co-working that is purpose-built for traveling professionals and with a big emphasis on hospitality and experience. So happy to be here back at Home Tech.
I already heard the word experience twice, so we're definitely on a roll here. The reality is, how are you handling experiences? How are you creating experience around tech? Creating experience around tech is very difficult sometimes to be able to get people to get a sense of it. However, that seems to be the way that the industry is going. So I'm going to start with you, Jonathan. Looking and thinking through that lens of experiences, are you seeing this trend? Is it just beginning stages, taking off? How are you viewing technology and then creating those branding and marketing experiences?
Yeah, I think if you look at it, people can spot if you're not being authentic. And what happens is that you could tech out your development, your building, but if you're not marketing it with a sophistication level equal or greater than the actual product itself, what you wind up doing is you're trying to BS your way through it, and they see that. So the first lesson of selling technology is to use technology yourself in the selling of that and leasing of that. So I have just some examples here. We worked with, this is in New York City, it was a $2 billion building, and they were taking a 100-year-old building and they were gonna tech it out. And so what we tried to design for them was an experience that would bring them in, allow them to really both bring the old, because it was in this gorgeous 100-year-old building, room called the Red Room, but bring in so much technology and projection mapping and these huge scrim walls and everything like that. So then people were just overwhelmingly impressed. The idea is to make it authentic. They could not get people into these very sophisticated units without being sophisticated themselves. And I guess that is the theme. There's another example would be 1909 Rittenhouse, Southern Land project in Philadelphia. And they had very, very tech-forward units. They were focused on that. And so what we wanted to do is make sure that before we even started talking about that technology, that they felt that they were in a place where a tech person would belong. That they would, it was luxury, never want to skimp on the luxury, but that we made sure that there was a big media wall, as you see it out there, and we kind of surrounded them with an experience. And the experience began online. So we just didn't have a simple search tool. We made it 3D. We made them feel like everything was at their fingertips. This is the kind of place that they'd want to be. We did walkthroughs, but not just any type of walkthroughs. I mean, there's a million different kinds of walkthroughs, and I'm sure you've seen a billion in your lifetime. But we wanted to make them high end, and I'll show you really quickly some of the stuff that we did. This is actually a different project, but it's the same idea. We went originally. We were talking with the developer, who was a group called Related Midwest out of Chicago, and they had this very luxury place, and they were going to be very tech forward. And what we said is, look, we want, and I'm sure you saw the presentation yesterday where they had a lot of different buttons that you could press, and you can definitely show a lot of the tech within visualizations, like this rendering right here. But what we were trying to do is trying to make it so that they felt the power. They felt the luxury. They felt the control that they would have with all of this technology there. So we toned it down a little bit, and we gave them the controller, the Amazon, because there's integrated with Amazon controller right there at their living room, and put some Netflix on there, and it achieved what we were trying to say about their lifestyle, which is just going to be easy, streamed down, and very elevated, so that we weren't selling the technology. We were selling how their life would change because of it, and that was sort of our mission, selling the experience.
You can see it on the image. It's definitely selling an experience. I've heard you describe, when we're talking about this technology and everything that's changing to drive it, it's like the guy in the chair who opens the elevator, sends the tech messages, gets the packages where they need to go, directs traffic, and he's like the guy that gets the superhero all the information they need. And I was like, hey, Bing, image generator, what does that look like? And this is what it could do. So this is the tech guy behind the scenes, 3 different variations that brings your marketing plan to life for people. So as you can see, I think it's interesting because I've seen some pretty incredible images from AI image generation. And then there's this, which is not that. And so technology always has a ways to go, which is why you have to cover your bases. And I'm excited to have Carol here on the panel because there's so much opportunity coming in how you showcase your units and how you showcase the technology in the units. But then there's all these bases to cover because as we talked about in the beginning, that XO that search experience optimization starts from the moment they Google you, and very basic technologies as well that also say, we're tech forward, we can handle it, we communicate with you well, versus here's a piece of paper and you may get a voice box that's full and you can't talk to us. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Carol, and hand this down to kind of talk about the experience you're seeing in creating a really positive customer experience as a very tech forward building and brand.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. So a big part of my day-to-day is really being in the trenches with the teams. And I go into new markets where our brand isn't established yet, and it's my job to make sure that everybody knows about us. And we're in saturated markets. So the brand is Connect, and right now we're operational in Nashville. We built our first prototype in around 2014, 2015 in Chicago. And then we're also operational right down the street in Fenix. And we had a huge party last year, if you guys were there on our rooftop. And we'll be hosting an event there in April, so you guys can actually experience the product. But a big part of my day-to-day is really being in the trenches, and I have to figure out what works and what doesn't. And I've made some great successes and also some failures. And I really want to talk about, be vulnerable for a little bit of, what I found that did not work specifically and what is working and what's really staying tried and true as the market is changing all the time. I think we can all sit here and say, what's changing in the market, and we'll have 10 things to talk about. But at the end of the day, what's tried and true is that we're leasing apartments and moving people into buildings, at the fundamental gist of it. So for me, what I've seen changing in the market is that the use of video, such as Jonathan's product and what you're doing, is absolutely incredible. And I've already been geeking out over it in his boardroom. But having that ease of information that you can access 24 hours a day. Everybody knows that our renting happens from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., right? When we're not there. So how are people communicating? How can we get back to people? How can we answer FAQs that come up and that takes so much time from the teams? So one thing that's tried and true for me is, when I was thinking about this question, is going back to saying, at the end of the day, people are really busy in my clientele, and moving is really stressful. It's one of the most stressful things that we can do in our lifetime, besides starting a new job or a new relationship or moving. So, and public speaking. So it's one of the most stressful things you can do. So our job is to figure out how to get really great information to our busy clientele and make it easy. And one thing that you'll hear me overarching about in this panel is just the experience, and really making it authentic and not always perfectly beautiful, right? And it's really getting to know that human element of it while incorporating the technology. So I really like to incorporate our short reels and videos, such as our agents and their TikToks. I put these on our Google business profile. And one thing I found that I was not doing correctly or consistently is using more video on our GBP. And once I did a full audit over all of our pages, I found that our Google business profile, it was really like a little kid. It really needed to be tended to often. It's not one of those things you can set and forget. And I think sometimes as a marketing director, we have so many outlets, we're constantly training, we have things on site, and we can just set it and forget it, and we know that we're getting leads, and we can check the data when we want. Well, I think once you kind of really get to know what the Google algorithm is that you really want to have accurate and consistent information across all of your channels. And this was one part that I've really been trying to improve on as we're growing this brand, because this will skyrocket your organic search. And you can realize that as your properties get stabilized, you can really pull back on that paid digital marketing, right? Because we live for organic search. So I have some data slides to show, which I pulled, and it made me really happy to see from the past year of really auditing all of our outlets for marketing. And then finally, understanding how people want to be communicated with, right? I think if you've ever taken those personality tests, you kind of learn. By the way, I'm a parrot eagle, if you've done the take flight. So I don't know if I have any parrots out there. This looks like a lot of doves and owls, but communicating with how people want to be communicated with, and I did some data pulling at my properties to bring just to this panel, so can't wait to show that for you. So how are you using this in consulting? What are you seeing?
Yeah, no, great question. I think generally everybody's trying to figure out how to not be as busy doing all the mundane pieces of their day. They're being told that they need to buy something, and they're just trying to figure out how to use it. All to your point,
Right.
like they're buying things, they're not really using it as well. So we're just trying to help people look at the data to make some actionable decisions.
And I wish I had you many of times where I had to kind of navigate this on my own, but that's okay. That's how we learn and grow. But so according to Statista, the internet is highly used for home searches. This is no surprise. But in 2022, 99% of people ages between 24 and 57 use the internet to buy a home or find an apartment. And the 77 and 97-year-olds, I mean, the baby boomers are out there and they're using technology and, they love it. They secretly love this stuff. But they're using this technology to find a home or maybe downsizing at their different phase of life. So your online curb appeal is more important than ever. And so this is data that I pulled from my property. And this is a 3-year-old property, so it's a more mature website. Our meta tags are pretty mature, but this was from after 8 months of doing full audits. And I wish I had the data from before I pulled it to show you, but what makes me really happy about this is that, so if you read at the top, it's organic search, advertising, and Google business profile influence. So right now, almost 47% is being influenced by organic search. So what does that mean? That means people are either driving by our property, they're searching us directly, which is what we want. We want everybody to know our name. This is from people going to an online source and then searching us directly. And then you'll see the influence of the Google business profile. Right behind under that is almost 40% of how we showed up. And then as you can see, just 15% is paid digital. So as this property is stabilized, of course, the first thing to get slashed is marketing budgets, but that's a whole nother panel. But this is where you can really realize that if you have a really good online search presence, you don't have to spend a ton in your paid media. You can really invest more in maybe your PPC ads or other retargeting campaigns. So I really like the statistic that, finally our properties after a full audit and really honing in on this Google business profile and utilizing it as a free resource and not just setting it and forgetting it, okay, I claimed my Google business, now I'm in business. Okay, no, you need to be uploading videos constantly. So when I find new technologies, it's really coming to conferences like this and having intimate conversations. And where's my North Carolina guy? We're talking about what's working at our properties, what's not, some new website hosting people, but it's really having these raw and intimate conversations that's been helping me kind of come up with these new approaches over really the past 15 years. I mean, 10 years in luxury student housing and now 4 years with this, brand for these digital nomads. So the 4 things I really want to cover in this little segment here, and I won't talk the whole time, but is creating that accurate business Google profile, using videos, and I have some fun videos I'm going to embarrass my team with. We do have a component of AI technology, but going back to Demetrios, what you said yesterday has been resonating with me because it's what problem are you trying to solve? And the technology that I brought in was losing sleep knowing that every single lead was not getting 3 points of contact right away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there was only 3 leasing agents. We got 500 leads. They can't call and text and email in the morning and at night, So it was, I can't remember which conference, but I found a great partner that it took me 8 months to demo them before we rolled it out. So I'll show you an example of that. And then my biggest component that you'll hear me talk about wherever I go is humanizing the experience and using that video technology and really getting your teams getting comfortable with being uncomfortable on camera. Because if you're real and authentic, that's what's gonna sell. And people lease from people that they like and they trust at the end of the day. We were talking about this before we started, Jonathan. It's, where are you gonna spend 40% of your income? You can go to any property in your location, but if someone's gonna give you that experience and make you feel really, really valued for all that money you're spending there, then they're gonna come to your property. And so I really like to train my teams to make those authentic videos and take about 20 seconds and send them a real human video and let them know that they are going to be that human that's gonna take that stress out of relocating from across the world or across the country. So I have an example of that. And then finally, we like to create experiences, and this isn't like a techie thing that we do, but we have so many events at Connect because we are a social club. We kind of mimic the Soho House theme, so you can just be a part of the community for events and networking. So we invite them to stay at our properties and use the co-working space for the day. Come back for a yoga class. Stay for one of our lobby jams in Nashville that we do weekly. So we're also inviting them to come activate at the community and really see if this is a good fit for them too. So I was sitting down the street at my property, and I went in Phoenix, and I went to search the property just directly. And I was really happy that a paid ad didn't show up before my property in Phoenix. Then I've noticed that now there's our biggest ILS. Great. So then I went over to my Google business profile. And one thing that we could also have a whole panel on is online reputation. So you want to have your really great reviews. And if you're getting a lot of lower star reviews, you want to have a campaign to push those down immediately. But one thing when you click into your Google business profile, how are you using all of these resources at the top here? And for me, I love to upload these 30-second little TikToks of like our influencers making coffee, people going to the gym, playing their guitar, tending to the garden at Connect. I love to upload those. And then I've embedded each link of our entire property onto here. And so you can do a 24-hour tour without having to go to my website. You can just do it right from here. So we're keeping everybody on this business platform, and you can also, there's call to actions on this. Being able to tour the property at any time of the day, 3D virtual tours with our beautiful renderings has really helped, with more conversions. And then as people are kind of exploring over the night, seeing where they want to live, this also helps them just to get a lot of their questions answered as well. But what Jonathan's doing is way cooler, and so I think this is the future for sure. Going on to this, okay, who's on your phone right now? Anybody checking emails? Okay, now you can get out your phone. So hold up your phone and actually scan this QR code, because this is going to take you on a journey. And I have this embedded on our websites for Connect Nashville, and I'm almost done with the one for Phoenix. So this is going to take you a human journey. This is one of our agents, and you can actually pop around the entire community on demand. So the fact that I put this on my website is going to keep people on my website. And the bounce rates have just plummeted, which is so exciting for me, because the longer they're on your website, the more likely they are to contact you. So as you can see, you can walk through the co-working space, you can walk through the amenity space, but guess what? There's something that's always a call to action. Hey, do you want to book a tour? Hey, do you want more information? And then that guest card goes right to our team. So this is something that we've just launched this year. I learned about the Real Link journeys from another conference, and I'm just ecstatic about it. So we've also put this on little stickers. We can put this on marketing materials, and we're even thinking about putting this on our business cards. So this can actually go to the property, and it just keeps people engaged. But the one component is that it's a human. It's not a chat bot. You're not just asking, hey, do you guys accept pets? This goes through our entire talk track, so it's also selling the value, and you're hearing it from a human, so you can hear that emotion in their voice. So after we launched this journeys, this is from our Real Link analytics, so 50% of people that scanned this went from lead to application, and then 50% of those went from application to a lease. So this is real data right here that videos absolutely work, and they create that experience. And my prerogative this year is to create those experiences. So I think we have our texting platforms, we have our great renderings, but now I want to humanize and really create that experience. All right, here we go. So this is an actual video that we've created, and this is just something that we share with people.
We have weight restrictions, breed restrictions, and plus we want to make sure that your furry loved ones have a home too.
Always ask a leasing agent if a washer and dryer is included in your apartment, because sometimes they charge, and at Connect we provide them free, no charge.
I would ask a leasing agent what is included in the monthly rent. Here at Connect, utilities are not included in your monthly rent, but they are wrapped up in one bill that's very convenient and easy to pay through Simple Bills, which is a third-party billing service.
Always ask your leasing agent if parking is included or how much extra it is per month so you can plan accordingly.
always ask your leasing agent what kind of events your community provide. That way you can meet people.
But wait, there's a blooper reel. And so this has made people watch this.
Always ask your leasing agent if shoot a monkey.
Oh my gosh. Always ask your leasing agent how much.
Does that go?
Always ask your leasing agent what kind of.
So this is another example from our video follow-up. Sorry, I'll go right back. So this is another example from the video follow-up that we use with Oleinick. So this is really humanizing the experience, and this is a 20-second video that our agents use as part of their sales process.
Hi, Demetrios, Delaney here with Connect Nashville, just checking in. First off, thank you for coming and touring with me the other day. It was a pleasure to get to know you and hear about what you're needing and a little bit about your backstory. I know we looked at 1309 and you said...
This is going to
Hi,
go to
Omni.
another
It's Michael
one.
Kearns with Connect Nashville here. It's probably about 3:45 on Thursday. I know you got an application in, and we're waiting on your guarantor. I think I sent a text to you earlier today, but just wanted to let you know I'm here if you have any further questions. I think we're waiting on Travis at this point. But if you think of anything in the meantime, let me know. We'll get your application through, get you processed, and get your home ready to go here. Hope to talk to you real soon. Thanks so much, Omni. Bye-bye.
So it just makes you feel super special, you know, to get a video and that someone took that time out of your day versus just sending an email or just, hey, here's a link to your apartment. So once you get trained on these with your teams, you can make general templates. It doesn't have to say, hey, Travis, hey, Jonathan, every single time, because we do have a lot to get through. But you get all the analytics. I mean, unless you're sending a blast email, you don't always get the analytics of who opened it, who clicked it, how long they clicked it, which links they clicked. You can actually see how long they watched their video, and you can see if they reshared that with somebody else, because we all know word of mouth is the best. So just quick analytics here. So this was just in the past 6 months. So they created 98 videos, but they shared 688 links. And so you can see how people are watching those videos there. And looks like 24 people downloaded it, which is probably me because I'm sharing them and I like to brag on the videos. Quickly going into the little bit of component of some AI technology that I spoke about earlier, we ended up going with Zuma. And, you know, do I think this may be a forever thing? Who knows? But, you know, I don't know if it's future proof. But right now, it's solving the problem for me, knowing that our prospects are getting multiple touch points to book a tour. So the thing that Zuma, her name's Kelsey, and I have been at the property before, and people have walked in, they're saying, hey, I'm here for a tour with Kelsey. And we're like, that's our offsite leasing agent, which is great. And so, and some of the agents are like, this is Kelsey's lead. She took my lead again. So, you know, it's creating that camaraderie. And I'm like, well, you need to follow up quicker. So her only goal is to respond to an ILS lead from the website or an ILS via text and email. And her only goal is to push a conversion tour appointment, because we want the human component to take over. So is she responding to everything after they move in? No. So this technology is great because it kind of stops it right after the human takes over, and we complete our leasing process that way. But this was a 1 week example, you guys. So 495 outgoing messages from 158 incoming messages just from Zillow or apartments.com or Zumper. And, you know, Kelsey was able to just respond and ask for tours over 495 times. And this is to book leads. Now, we also have our agents in the background doing their jobs too. This is just another component to take off menial task of, what's your dog restriction again? Mm-hmm. Do you guys take iguanas? You know, all the things that people ask us. So this is the AI technology that I found is part of my sales platform that we're using right now. And, you know, going into inviting people to activate at your properties. I don't know, you know, people are already there. If you have that physical human at your property, why not ask them to stay and work for the day if you have that co-working space? We have over 16,000 square feet of co-working space in Nashville and about 9,000 here in Phoenix. And, you know, hey, do you need to take some calls? Let me open up an office for you. Oh, and then we have a yoga class starting at 4. Do you want to stay? And, you know, that person, the longer they're at your property and seeing how the vibe is, then, you know, the likely they are to convert. So Also, part of our sales process is using people to invite them to our events. And we actually we put them on our newsletter, and they get a weekly newsletter about what's going on. And if they want to unsubscribe, they can. But we are now inviting them to be part of our community. So overarching theme is experience, and making that person where they're going to spend half of their income feel really valued at your property. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, as you can see, so her property is very tech forward. They're recruiting tech forward tenants, and they're using the technology on that communication side and running that brand experience. And that's in direct contrast to then Jonathan is literally owning the visuals and what you think of the appearance of the property and your experience of it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So Demetrios, you're kind of smack in the middle there as the consultant. That's two very different two sides of the experience coin. Yeah. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, again, I said this a lot yesterday, but what problem are you solving, right? And so in some cases, maybe you are building a $2 billion high rise, and the person walking in needs to feel the gravity of that, build out. On the other side of that, what I think I hear a lot, and this is whether you're just a builder, whether you're a merchant builder, whether you're the owner operator, I think everybody's trying to get their humans back. I think team members are struggling and inundated with 15 to 20 different apps or products they need to use to do whatever it is they're doing. And I leased apartments a long time ago, and what I was really good at wasn't grabbing your IDs, processing applications, writing up things, selling you on tech packages or any of that. That's not what my job was. My job was to build a relationship and get you excited about wanting to live here, right? And so the general theme or the general questions that I'm fielding are, how do I get my humans back? Maybe how do I even do more tasks myself? Right, and so I think you said, hey, I've got somebody off-site that's conducting all of this leasing. Well, I need a tool to do that. So you're seeing a lot of folks trying to do a lot more things. I'm trying to help them not buy a lot of things because they're going to get inundated. That's
a really good point, because you can't do all the things. And I think so in every conversation, you have this I'll date myself, Jerry Maguire moment where you're like, show me the money. But you also have to say, show me the data. And that's why you have a couple slides to show the data. What's it translating to? What is it benefiting you?
Yeah, whenever I want to launch a marketing platform, our CEO or COO is always like, how are we going to track this, Carol? This can't be another idea that you want to do, right? So I've gotten really, really good about that. So after we did that big audit, and we're consistently doing quarterly audits now of all of our outlets for Google Business Profile to really enhance this organic search and reducing paid search. What I love is that now with our online reputation, we can pull a lot of this data and seeing what people are saying, because this is how we get our feedback. And Connect has been developed over 10 years with the hybrid model of furnished apartments, co-working. We didn't just add office space during the pandemic like people think, right? This has been part of our business model since launching this in 2010. But what I like to see online is, where are the negatives? And I think as owner-operators and leaders in this industry, we have to really get our egos out of the way of all the good stuff that we do and actually pay attention to the bad stuff and what people are actually saying. So to make myself a little vulnerable, I mean, we have some of our reviews. This is from a property of, obviously there was some elevator issues going on. So it's like, we had to go back in and say, what's going on with the elevator, and, how can we fix that? We also, had some communication issues from some of the management. So was that a training moment? Do we need to make changes? This is being able to have consistent information on your online platforms can also make your online reputation management a lot easier, because you can monitor all of that under one platform. And we use ChatMeter for that. So, there's plenty out there, but having all of that all under one roof and being able to monitor the reputation helps me see the data in one spot and not have to log in to so many different platforms to see it. Our online booking system, I love Calendly. I know that it integrates with some other platforms too, but being able to get in the back end and seeing, what I love about Calendly, first of all, is that they do the automated text messages and the automated follow-ups. So if I know that somebody books a tour on Calendly, they're going to get a nice call to action that I've written for all the properties, and I can rest easy knowing that they're getting that really great follow-up and call to action to apply or contact the leasing office. But this also helps me see, this is, I think the data I pulled was year to date. So 945 just created events, but 154 cancellations. Like, what happened with those people? So that gives me, I can filter these, I can go back through the cancellations and see, like, what was it? Did somebody not answer your question? Was there something that we don't have that you want? And then also staffing your property. I think having that data to know when your busiest times are. If you think if your data is showing that you're the busiest on Mondays and Tuesdays, you should have a ton of staff that day and extra support. As you can see, we always think Saturdays and Sundays are our busiest times, right? Data shows for Nashville, we're right on Music Row. You can stumble to the bars, right? So I don't know why people aren't coming in on a Sunday. Maybe they're recovering, but we see that we don't actually need that many people on Sunday. So we can use our teams for admin, getting ready for the week, and not actually having to be overstaffed. So just having that really good booking system where you can also track your bookings and data, I think also converts to all of your online outlets of where people are booking from you. And finally, this is just from launching our journeys and having this data on our website. You can see the bounce rate. So I got this from our provider. I'm not going to say their name, but so the industry standard bounce rate from a virtual tour is 40%. Ours is at 6%. I asked her. I was like, is this correct? So, and then the industry also standard for engagement is 60%. Our virtual tours were at 94%. And this is because we have this embedded on our websites. We have it on our Google business platforms. We're sharing the links, and this is keeping people watching our videos much longer. And then finally, we ran I keep saying finally, but I have a lot to say. We ran a poll, and does this kind of translate to what you guys are seeing too in your markets?
Yeah.
So we were like, how do you like to be communicated with? And we just recently ran this, so this is new data, that when we're doing renewals and outreach and follow-up, everybody said they wanted to be contacted via text. And right behind that was email, followed by a text. So this is real data from real people. And I think this also helps us with our online technology of, can people contact and get a text message really quickly? Can people book a tour really quickly at 2 a.m. to come in at 10 a.m.? And we have to have that technology. And you really want all of your information online to be accurate and consistent, because that's going to help you with your Google algorithm, and you won't have to pay as much to have that top paid ad that you're paying $54 per click. This was a different property, just literally ran this the other day. Again, some people said only email. So this is the Fenix property, actually. So they don't like to talk to anybody. They just want the information and they want the email. And we did a poll of what's most important to you in the technology when you're choosing an apartment. And smart thermostats, smart TVs in my apartment were one of the top, as well as access and smart locks. So we have some great vendors here of real data of what's most important when people are making their housing decisions. So it may not be the fancy dog park, it may not be the cool rack that you have in your gym. If people are living in your apartments more and wanting better access, then this is maybe a good data to show where you need to spend your money.
Okay, so if you want to pass the clicker down, that's a brief look at what Carol's doing with her property and how she's managing experiences from when people Google to when they actually get to do the events with her. And then we have Jonathan on the other side with blowing away the visuals of video that clearly are working. So I'm going to give him the stage now to work through a very exciting new offering. I've got a sneak peek of it that he is launching very soon, and it dovetails very nicely into what we're talking about.
Thank you, Heather. Thanks. So Evolution Virtual has been around for about 13 years. We've had the opportunity to work with a ton of projects across the spectrum of real estate, especially in multifamily and all over the world, to help sell and lease about $200 billion worth of stuff. And that includes a lot of kind of like the most iconic buildings in the world, including, I show this list on the left is it's 220 Central Park South, the most expensive building in the world. And they used our tools and our ability to craft those experiences to sell $3 billion worth of real estate at $10,000 a square foot. And so we've really done quite a bit. And we do that in two ways. So the first way is we utilize really powerful presentations, and I'll show a lot about that. And then we try to use 3D in a creative, very impactful way that moves people to understand the property and then to be able to lease it. So and for that, every story is different. So we have a ton of technology, proprietary technology that we have designed over last 13 years. That's Nima from Chicago.
So cool.
This is how you can search a building, and that's actually a drone shot. So it doesn't have to be 3D. We can use drone in any of our technologies. That is a 3D. We didn't actually take that building apart. And then typical, you can walk through places, you can choose units, and you can choose finishes, and everything should look photoreal. If you're having a hard time telling, oh, that's not real, then it's, we did our job right. So the idea is whether you're selling the experience or the experience of technology in the unit, we want to be able to help do it in the most effective way. And we've learned so much that 3 years ago, I sat down and I said, look, we can't do this efficiently enough. We can't reach enough places. We can't help enough people and we had to charge, a lot of things you saw there were $50,000, $100,000, $300,000, whatever. It depends. So what we set out on a mission to try to Squarespace it. Because you can go to Squarespace, you used to have to spend $30,000, $50,000 for a website. Now you just go to Squarespace, and in an hour you can have a pretty good website, load up the content and do that. And we wanted that same experience for real estate. So we built out a really smart system that has templates of pretty much everything that you want, and it works on every device, works anywhere. It can create any type of leasing experience, in person, online, and we connected it with a bunch of kind of cool AI. So this is a first video of that. So the idea is that currently in the front end, in facing the client, facing that renter, you guys are using a whole bunch of different technologies. And what we try to do is we wanted to create the last mile technology that you could use across any device at any time. We don't do what Yardi does. We don't do what a lot of CRMs do. But what we want to do is we want to help and be that last mile. Anytime you're presenting to the client, we want that to be something that we can provide. And in that, just to quickly go through this, we've created a really easy template system where we have dozens and dozens of different types of pages that work across every different platform. We got a back end. We can link to any of the CRMs as long as they have, as I always say, as long as they have an API. We can link to it, and we already do link to the vast majority of them. And we can help to power the most important part of your website, which is the inventory and collection of information part of your website. And the actual designs or stuff, you still can go to Jonah or to BDX or to any of the other players that are out there that are going to do the general wrapping of that website. And then what we sort of specialize in is creating a great experience. So whether it's online or whether it's in person, creating all of the right things so that that renter feels like they have everything at their disposal, that they're coming into a place that they want to live. And we want to create that through technology, through visualizations, and through working with you guys to tell the story right. And we can download it onto an iPad and go anywhere in the world. We can provide self-guided tours. And so one thing that we like to distinguish between ours and others is that you can have an AR component, so they can go into an empty place and hold up your phone and you can see furniture in there. And then there's a post-tour component, which we think is actually the most important part, which is after they're done, after they've leased, after they've gone through the process, but they haven't leased yet, to be able to send them something and send them to their own personalized client portal. And I think that client portal is where you can share videos, where you can share stuff, where you can have that dialogue, where they can text back and forth and you can track everything. And that it's a really important component. So you're not always going to get the job done day one, but if you have the right outreach to them, you can get the job done maybe in 2 or 5 or 10 more days. And then track everything. And so anything on our system is tracked, every picture they look at, for how long they spent, every experience they had, on the video side, on everything. So as far as all the visuals, we have a team of 80 people, but we know that you guys have vendors for visuals. And sometimes we try to be cost effective, but we will always be somewhat of the highest quality, but sometimes we'll be more than others. So what we have done is to be able to be useful in our tool. What we can do is work with any third-party rendering company, show them exactly what they need to do in order to transform that rendering from the left into an interactive that they will then provide us that can load up into our system and that can run on any device. So we want to play well with others, and what we really are focused on is creating that experience. 2 other things. On Friday, I saw the first demo of our AI control, which is we now can voice control everything that you saw there. So you never have to touch any buttons. So you can say, "Hey, show me Unit 301," or that kind of stuff, and it can run on a phone, it can run on an iPad, it can run anywhere that there's a microphone. And by February 1st, which is when this whole product really launches, we will be able to understand sentiment of the client and be able to tie that to stuff that you're showing them. So we'll be able to learn what they like, what they don't like, and be able to drive decision making. And recommend to the agent, hey, they seem to be this sort of profile. You might want to show them this. You might want to take them here. Do that kind of stuff. And that stuff will be eventually integrated into the tours as well. So we are launching this new platform. So what's the difference between the old platform and the new platform? Really price. So the old platforms, they were custom made, starting at $30,000, doing all that. And now what we have done is we really have Squarespace it. We have built a system to be able to do this so that it's zero up front, and depending whether it's a stabilized building or it's a lease up, they start at about $100 to $250 a month. First month free, cancelable anytime. Can't beat that, just like Squarespace. So we're looking for 25 projects to be our beta testers. So if you have a project that's coming up that you want to do something exciting for, come in. Part of that beta test is you're going to be first, and we're going to take a lot of suggestions from you. We're going to build a lot more out in the tech over the next few months to meet your specific needs, and that will help the product get a lot better. So we're looking for people who want to be first in on this, and with no financial risk whatsoever. Thanks.
Okay. Can you feel that experience? I can feel it. It's pretty incredible. Everything that they're trying to really make available more to a mass market instead of just the top tier. You hadn't seen it yet, everything that it includes.
I'm sold.
I'll take one.
To say that.
How does that compare to what you've started dabbling in, Carol, with the 3D tours, seeing everything that's put together?
Yeah, so I've spent the last 7 or 8 years in that space, whether that's giving you hardware to allow self-guided tours to happen, or working with partners and doing digital mapping. When you talk about potentially, because it's not live yet from your zero free down situation, but to have that all in one place, to have that integrated with your PMS. I don't say this often, but it just seems too good to be true. I would love to. I've got a few projects in mind that I may help there, because I would love to see really how that all comes together. I saw maybe 5 or 6 different products that you would have to go purchase to be able to get that experience, and even then, just moving through that would be a challenge for somebody. So yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, I think just to go into the different products, where we have several different products at Connect. So being able to fly into the co-working area, and people can really see where they can set up their office space for their growing team, or they may need an apartment as well, or vice versa. They just need a home, they don't need an office. So this, it's so sexy. That's just what I think about it. It's so beautiful. But the 3D component, where it's just really interactive, is just groundbreaking. So you're going to be widely successful at this. Yes.
And I think that's where we're sitting. We're sitting at this space where there is that shift I talked about at the beginning, where experience is really becoming front and center, but the technology is also coming up to be able to meet that head on and give you more opportunities to do it really well. And it's not going away. I had looked, Forbes put out an article. It was called 5 Trends in Adapting Multifamily Real Estate to Modern Demands. And the number one thing that they listed was a rising demand for amenities and experiences. So it's definitely something to keep track of, stay ahead of, and then experiment with different solutions like the one Jonathan offers.
And I just love the follow-up component. I can't say that enough, that sometimes we put, different products out there, but where's the follow-up? Where's the call to action? And, sometimes you want to soft sell it, so it's not lease an apartment. But I love that there's a follow-up component, and you can actually get that analytics. And you can track the conversions, which is the most important.
You can also always reach out to anyone on the panel. You can snap a picture of the contact information if you want. If you have questions that you come up with on the airplane, you can send us an email, and we'll be happy to answer them. So on that note, we're going to close, and I really want to say thank you to Jonathan. He is the sponsor of this session, and again, we cannot have these events and we cannot have these sessions without sponsors. So thank you very much, Jonathan. So on that note, go and have a great rest of the day.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.